The moment you decide to walk a path where no one holds the reins for you, that is when your true journey begins. Imagine a warrior standing alone, not bound by masters, not chained by orders or the weight of allegiance. This warrior moves through life like the wind, free, untethered, and fiercely independent. But freedom is not simply the absence of chains. It is the presence of relentless purpose, sharpened by discipline, and forged in the fires of self-mastery. You may wonder, what drives such a soul? What fuels a warrior who answers to no one but himself? The answer lies in understanding that true strength is born not from obedience, but from unwavering inner resolve. This is not about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is about becoming the master of your own fate, the captain of your own soul. And that, my friend, is the story we are about to unfold. One of a warrior who stood alone, yet never stood down. This warrior did not seek glory from the approval of others, nor did he measure his worth by the accolades handed down by the crowd. His sword was his truth, and his shield the unyielding spirit forged in countless battles of the mind and body. To answer to no one is to understand the cost of such freedom, a cost paid in sweat, solitude, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Many fear standing alone, but the warrior knows that loneliness is the price of greatness. In the silence of isolation, he found clarity. In the absence of commands, he discovered purpose. This is not the tale of a man without fear, but of one who faced fear head-on and refused to be mastered by it. To walk this path is to walk it with eyes wide open, fully aware that every step taken without a master's hand is a step into the unknown, but also a step toward becoming more than a follower, toward becoming a true warrior. The world often tries to bind us with expectations, rules, and the comfort of conformity. It whispers that we should fit into molds, follow orders, and avoid the hardship that comes with forging our own way. But the warrior rejects this ease. He understands that the greatest battles are not fought with others, but within himself. To answer to no one does not mean to act without discipline. Rather, it means discipline becomes an internal flame, burning brighter than any external command could ignite. It is a dance between chaos and order, where the warrior alone decides when to strike and when to retreat. The greatest enemy is not the one who stands across the battlefield, but the one who dwells in his own doubts and hesitations. Only when the warrior conquers this inner adversary can he truly move without restraint, his mind sharper than any blade, his spirit unbreakable. When you stand without a master, you become your own teacher, your own judge, and your own guide. This is no easy role to play, for it demands absolute honesty and unyielding courage. The warrior who answers to no one looks into the mirror and faces himself without flinching. He owns his failures and triumphs alike, because they are his alone to carry. This path strips away excuses and distractions, revealing the raw essence of what it means to be alive. To embrace this solitude is to embrace responsibility, not just for your actions, but for your very existence. The warrior learns that freedom without responsibility is chaos, and responsibility without freedom is slavery. The balance between these forces is the sword's edge on which he walks, and to master that edge is to master life itself. In a world filled with noise and distractions, the warrior who answers to no one cultivates silence. Not just the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness within. It is here, in this stillness, that clarity is born, where the warrior sees the world as it truly is, stripped of illusions and false promises. To walk alone is not to be lost, but to be found. It is a journey inward as much as outward, where every step is a lesson and every moment a test. The warrior does not seek to escape the world, but to face it unflinchingly, armed with nothing but the strength of his own will and the clarity of his own vision. This is the path of the true warrior, unyielding, unbound, and unstoppable. If you are willing to take this journey, to stand as a warrior who answers to no one, understand this: it is not a path of comfort, but it is a path of power. the power to shape your own destiny, to live by your own code, and to become the person you were meant to be. It demands sacrifice, relentless effort, and an unbreakable spirit. But on this path, you will discover something priceless: the freedom to live fully, fiercely, and without regret. This is the call to those who dare to stand alone and still stand tall. The call to become more than just a follower, but a force unto yourself. And so the journey begins, not with a shout, but with a whisper deep within. The whisper of a warrior who answers to no one but himself. To live as a warrior who answers to no one is to accept a life of constant challenge. There will be days when the weight of solitude presses down like an iron shackle, when the world's demands clash with your own inner fire. But the warrior understands that these trials are not curses, but blessings in disguise. Each struggle a sharpening stone for the soul. When the storm rages outside and voices call for surrender, the warrior holds firm, grounded by the unshakable belief that his path, though lonely, is righteous. The strength of such a spirit comes not from the applause of others, but from the quiet confidence of knowing that he has chosen his own way, and there is no greater power than that. Many mistake freedom for chaos, believing that to answer to no one is to act without restraint or purpose. But the warrior knows better. True freedom is discipline wrapped in choice. It is the clarity to see every decision as a stroke of the brush, painting your own destiny. It requires a mind sharper than the sharpest blade, and a heart steady in the face of uncertainty. This warrior crafts his life like a master swordsman crafts his technique. Carefully, relentlessly, with an eye for precision and perfection. To answer to no one is not to walk blindly, but to walk with intention, knowing every step moves you closer to mastery over yourself. The path of the independent warrior is often misunderstood. To the world it may appear as arrogance or stubbornness, but those who walk it know it is something far deeper, a devotion to truth and authenticity that cannot be compromised. The warrior refuses to be shaped by others' fears, opinions, or limitations. Instead, he becomes a force that reshapes the world around him by the sheer power of his presence and resolve. This is a path of endless growth, where comfort is left behind and discomfort becomes the companion of progress. It is here, in the crucible of relentless effort and fierce independence, that true greatness is born. You may ask, what fuels such a warrior? What keeps the fire alive when no one stands beside him? It is the unyielding belief in a higher purpose, the understanding that to answer to no one is to answer to something far greater, the calling within. This calling is the voice of the soul, whispering truths that cannot be ignored. It is a commitment to becoming the strongest, wisest, and most fearless version of oneself. The warrior trains not to please others, but to honor this inner call, to live with integrity, and to face life's battles with unflinching courage. Each challenge met and conquered is a testament to the power of self-mastery, a brick laid in the foundation of an unbreakable spirit. This journey is not for the faint of heart. To stand alone is to risk isolation, misunderstanding, and sometimes even rejection. But the warrior embraces these risks, knowing they are the price of true freedom. He is like a lone mountain standing tall against the storm, unyielding, steadfast, and magnificent. This image is not one of loneliness, but of strength. It is a reminder that to be bound by no one is to be bound by something infinitely greater. The code forged within, the fire that burns without permission or apology. When you walk this path, you become a beacon, not because you seek to lead, but because your strength naturally draws others who are ready to rise as well. In every era there have been those who refused to bow, who chose to walk their own way despite the cost. They are the true warriors, the ones who understood that freedom is not granted but taken, earned through relentless effort and fierce independence. Their legacy is not found in trophies or titles, but in the lives they touched and the inspiration they left behind. To answer to no one is to carve your own legend, written not by others, but by the steady hand of your own will. This is your invitation to become that warrior, to stand tall, to fight hard, and to live fully on your own terms. When the path grows dark and the voices grow loud, remember this: the warrior who answers to no one walks not in defiance, but in truth. His sword is his mind, his armor his spirit, and his battlefield the landscape of his own becoming. He does not seek permission, he demands none. And in this, he finds a freedom so profound that no chain can ever bind it. This is the legacy you are called to build. The legacy of a warrior who stands alone, yet stands unshaken, answering only to the unbreakable code within. The world waits for those who dare to answer that call. To embody the spirit of the warrior who answers to no one is to embrace a life where every moment becomes a test of your character. There is no room for excuses or distractions. You must hold yourself accountable not because an overseer demands it, but because your own honor demands it. This level of responsibility is both a burden and a blessing. It is heavy because it cannot be passed on or shared, but it is liberating because it means your fate rests solely in your hands. The warrior knows that with great freedom comes great responsibility. Each decision carved by your own hand shapes the course of your destiny. This is the essence of true mastery, the unrelenting commitment to craft yourself as carefully as you would a fine blade, knowing that every imperfection weakens your strike. The strength of the warrior lies not only in his ability to fight, but in his ability to endure. Endurance is the silent pulse beneath every great victory, the steady heartbeat of a spirit that refuses to break. When the world turns against him, when doubt creeps in like a shadow, the warrior stands firm. He does not seek the crowd's favor or the easy path. Instead, he embraces hardship as the ultimate teacher, knowing that pain and struggle are the whetstones that sharpen the mind and temper the soul. To answer to no one is to endure what others cannot, to rise when others fall, and to keep moving forward even when the road is steep and the night is long. Independence is the foundation upon which the warrior builds his life, but it is not built on isolation. The warrior understands that connection and respect are earned, not given. He does not bend his will to please, but he values strength and wisdom in others, and learns from those who have walked the path before him. Yet he never relinquishes his autonomy. He listens, he observes, but ultimately his decisions come from within. This balance between humility and self-reliance is the hallmark of the true warrior. It is a delicate dance, one that requires constant vigilance and unwavering commitment to the code that guides him. To walk this path, you must cultivate a mind that is calm amidst chaos. The warrior's mind is like water, fluid, adaptable, and ever aware. When conflict arises, he does not panic or react impulsively. Instead, he moves with purpose and precision. He knows that true power comes from control over one's emotions and clarity of thought. To answer to no one means to command your own mind and spirit, to be the master of your reactions rather than a slave to circumstance. This mental discipline is what allows the warrior to navigate life's battles with grace and effectiveness, turning obstacles into opportunities and fear into fuel. There is a sacred solitude in the warrior's journey. This solitude is not loneliness, but a fertile ground where the seeds of wisdom and strength grow. It is in the quiet moments of reflection, away from the noise of the world, that the warrior confronts his deepest fears and greatest aspirations. He learns to know himself fully, the shadows and the light, the weaknesses and the strengths. This self-knowledge is the cornerstone of his power. Without it, he is a blade without a handle, unable to strike with precision or purpose. With it, he becomes unstoppable, a force of nature carved from resolve and clarity. If you choose to become this warrior, prepare yourself for a path that few dare to walk. It will test your limits and challenge your beliefs, but it will also reveal depths within you that you never knew existed. To answer to no one is to claim your life as your own, to live with intention, courage, and relentless honesty. It is to become the architect of your own destiny and the author of your own story. This is a call to rise above the ordinary, to refuse the comfort of conformity, and to embrace the extraordinary power that lies within you. The warrior who answers to no one waits inside you, ready to be awakened. When you stand in front of the mirror tonight, ask yourself, am I ready to live by my own code? Am I ready to bear the weight of freedom with honor and strength? The warrior's path is not paved with certainty or ease, but with courage and commitment. To answer to no one is to answer to the highest calling of the soul, to become fully, fiercely, and unapologetically yourself. This is the legacy you are meant to build. This is the story waiting to be written. And the first step begins with a single choice. The choice to stand alone and to stand unyielding. There comes a time when the warrior realizes that true victory is not found in defeating others, but in conquering himself. The fiercest battles rage within. The doubts that whisper you're not enough, the fears that seek to chain your spirit, the temptations that pull you away from your path. To answer to no one means to face these inner enemies with the same ferocity you would face any external threat. It means looking into the abyss of your own soul without flinching, embracing the darkness as well as the light. This is where true strength is forged, not in the clash of swords, but in the silent victories of self-mastery. The warrior who answers to no one understands that every battle won within brings him closer to absolute freedom. The path of the warrior is never easy, but it is always clear. He moves with a purpose so steady, it cuts through chaos like a sharp blade through silk. This clarity comes not from external direction, but from the stillness within. A stillness cultivated through discipline, reflection, and an unshakable commitment to truth. When you answer to no one, you become the compass by which your life is guided. No distractions, no outside noise can sway you from your course unless you allow it. This is the power of self-trust, the foundation of every great journey. It is a power that can only be earned through countless trials, through rising every time you fall, and through standing firm when others would bend. The world will often mistake your independence for defiance or arrogance, but remember this. The warrior's strength is born from humility and self-awareness. He knows his limits and accepts them without shame, always striving to grow and improve. To answer to no one is not to close yourself off, but to open yourself fully to the process of becoming, learning, evolving and refining with each passing day. It is a lifelong pursuit that demands patience and persistence. The warrior carries this patience like a second sword, cutting through frustration and doubt with steady resolve. This is not a sprint, but a marathon. One that tests every ounce of your spirit and pushes you beyond what you thought possible. In the silence of his solitude, the warrior listens closely to the heartbeat of the earth, to the whisper of the wind, to the quiet voice within. He understands that true power is subtle, often invisible to the untrained eye. It is the calm before the storm, the pause before the strike, the quiet confidence that nothing external can break. To answer to no one is to harness this inner power and wield it with wisdom and restraint. It is the mark of a master, the sign of one who has walked through fire and emerged not only unscathed, but refined and radiant. This is the pinnacle of independence, where strength is born not from domination, but from harmony within oneself. If you stand ready to walk this path, know that you are joining a lineage not of followers, but of pioneers. Those who dared to look beyond the safety of command and control, those who stepped into the unknown with nothing but their own will to guide them. They are the ones who changed the course of history, not because they answered to no one out of pride, but because they answered to the highest call of all, the call to be fully, authentically, and uncompromisingly themselves. This is your invitation to join them. To stand tall as a warrior who answers to no one but the truth that burns inside your heart. This is your moment to rise. When doubt creeps in, and it will, remember the warrior's code, to stand firm in your convictions, to act with clarity and purpose, and to never lose sight of your own power. To answer to no one is not to walk a path without allies, but to walk a path where your greatest ally is the strength within. It is a path of endless discovery, of relentless growth, and of boundless freedom. This is the legacy waiting for you, the story you are meant to write with every breath, every step, and every heartbeat. The warrior who answers to no one is not a myth or a legend. He is within you, waiting to be awakened. Listen closely, because this is where everything comes together. The heart of the warrior who answers to no one. You are not defined by the approval of others or the chains of expectation. You are defined by the fire that burns within, the relentless spirit that refuses to be tamed. This fire is your birthright, your power, your truth. To stand alone is not a curse, it is a calling. A calling to rise above the noise, to forge your own path, and to live with unshakable conviction. Yes, the road will be hard. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the weight of solitude threatens to break you. But know this, those moments are the crucible in which your greatest strength is forged. The warrior who answers to no one does not walk with arrogance, but with profound humility. He knows that true power comes from mastering oneself, mastering fear, doubt, and the chaos of the world. And when you master yourself, no force can break you. You become a force of nature, a beacon of resilience and courage that inspires others not because you seek their approval, but because your light shines so fiercely it cannot be ignored. This is your moment. The world may try to bind you, to silence your voice, to shape you into something less than you are, but you were born to break those chains. Stand tall, stand proud, stand fierce. Answer to no one but your own soul, and in doing so, become the warrior you were always meant to be. Your journey is just beginning, and the power to shape your destiny lies within your hands. Take it, own it, live it.